Hello, my name is Susie. I'm 19 years old. I live in Leigh-on-Sea with my mum, dad and my sister Jo.
Well, my name's Ian, and I'm 56 years old. It was my birthday last Saturday. I live in a place near Barnsley called Darfield with my wife, and occasionally my son, sometimes my grandson, comes round. And I've never met anybody from Leigh-on-Sea before. You're the first person, so it's nice to meet somebody from a new place, I think.
I would hate to be without my talker and my iPad. Are there any things that you would find very difficult to live without?
I would find it difficult to live without my iPad. My iPad is very important to me, but my notebook is the main thing. I have a notebook that I write down everything in, so I'll just grab it. My notebook is my notebook. I like notebooks without lines in, so I find that easier. It's a bit like the iPad screen, you know, no lines. So with the address of where I'm going today, Chandler House, I've got all the things I've got to do. I've got lists of things that I overhear people saying. I've got somebody's address that they gave me. It's all in here. So my notebook, if I lost my notebook, I would have had it. I've got a mobile phone. If I lost that, that would be difficult. The iPad, but the notebook is the thing. If I lose the notebook, that's it. I do like them without lines. When it was my birthday, my brother bought me one with lines. And I had to go, thank you. But really, I want to put without lines. So that's what I can do without my notebook and my iPad, I think.
What has been the happiest moment of your life?
What's been the happiest moment of my life? That is such an interesting question. I'll tell you what the happiest moment of my life was when my grandson was born. So I've got 3 children, and my grandson was a surprise to us all, including my daughter. And when he was born, it was November the 24th, 2004, and me and my wife had gone up to the hospital, and she was having the baby by cesarean, and me and my wife were in this other room, and they wouldn't let us in, but I knew the security man, so I said, go on, let me pop in. We popped in, and they brought her down. They brought an empty cot. I remember they brought this empty cot. I thought, where is it? Then they brought the bed down with my daughter Lizzie on the bed and Thomas, my grandson, lay there. I remember. That really was the happiest I've ever felt. And I looked out the window and it was snowing. Quite early, 24th of November. I picked him up and I said, Thomas, we're going to have some fun. And we really do. So yeah, that was the happiest moment of my life. And I'll be seeing him tomorrow and I'll tell him that he asked a question about it. He likes football. He's a goalkeeper in the local team. Very, very good. So yeah, that was the happiest moment in my life. Until now, obviously. These are great questions. They're different to the questions I normally ask, which is good.
I'm really good at photography. What are you good at that not many people know about?
I'm very good at bell ringing. I'm a bell ringer. When I was much younger, I used to ring bells in the local church, and it's something you never forget how to do. It's quite hard to learn when you first start, because the bells, you pull the rope and the bell has to be, it swings around on a wooden wheel, and it has to be upside down. There's not much skill. The only skill is to hold the rope so the bell doesn't swing over. Once you've learned that, it's great. It's such a thing. It's a nice thing to do. And what I like about it is you're a member of a team. So you're ringing the bell, but you've got to wait for that person to ring their bell. Then they wait for you to ring yours. You make a beautiful tune, really. So yeah, not very many people know that I'm a bell ringer. Because apart from that, there's not many things I can do. I can't swim, I can't drive, I can't ride a bike. I can write poems, I can talk. I like talking, and I like being on the radio, but bell ringing is something not many people know that I can do. And it's totally useless. You know, if this building caught fire, it wouldn't help us in any way, the fact that I can ring bells, but I do love ringing bells.
I mean, Mum, up, pet, she bell move.
So we've been to see a bell ringing. We've been out of the church tower and watched bell ringing, yes.
In Leigh?
In Rayleigh.
Oh, yes, yeah, it's lovely. I mean, it's a fantastic thing, because if you didn't know they were there, they're kind of invisible. And when you get up there, you see them. They're amazing. I made a radio programme about the Whitechapel Bell Foundry, which is the only foundry left in the south of England. It's amazing to see them being made. I also used to ring handbells. You know, you ring and you play you get 2 in each hand. So yeah, bell ringing.
If you were appearing on the show Britain's Got Talent, what would you do?
I do hand trumps. I can play any tune and I'd win. So for example, I can play Postman Pat. I'll just get it warmed up. I play God Save the Queen. Again, it's like bell ringing, it's totally useless, Susie, but I enjoy doing it. It's got a real, and it too, it makes people laugh, and it's like a nice thing. It's just so nice. It's, and it's, I don't know why I can do it. I think if you, it's good if you've had a bath and your hands are a bit wet or a bit sweaty, you just, I can do that. William Tell Overture. After a bit, it really hurts. Susie, that's the trouble. That's, yeah, thank you. I think I think I'd win. Britain's Got Talent. You know what I mean? I could do a world tour of stadiums. Bit of hand trumping. When I have guests on my show, when we do the Verb live, I introduce them with hand trumps because it lightens the atmosphere. So you have famous writers like William Boyd. You introduce them as we had a writer from Malaysia called Ratawut Lachuron Sam, and I introduced him as because they all sound similar to me. These are really good questions, Susie. These are great. I wish more people ask me questions like this.
Who do you look up to and why?
That's interesting. Who do I look up to? I always looked up to my dad. He's not with us anymore. I've been dead for about 10 years. But I looked up to my dad because he was a very strong kind of fella, and he always said to me, "Do what you want in your life." You know, he never said. When I told him I wanted to be a poet, he said, "Go on then." And him and my mother met as pen pals. He was from Scotland, she was from Yorkshire. They met as pen pals. And I just like the way that he was just a very gentle man, very, very gentle. So I always looked up to him, I think. Never been asked that before. That's a really good question. I think I look up to him. And I'm starting to look like my dad as well. That's the other thing. You start to look like your dad. So I had my hair cut recently, and the barber shows you the back of the neck, back of your neck, and it looks like my dad's, back of my dad's neck. So I think I'm, like you do, you start to turn into them. So I look up to him very much. Yeah. It's a good question, huh? That's a very fresh blow. If you open the window, yeah. So another question, Susie, that'll cool us down. No, I don't have to open the window, so I'm joking.
It's quite quiet.
Alright, okay. Alright, Susie, we'll carry.
No, actually.
No.
No, it's fine.
There.
Yeah.
Hot 100.
What's the most important thing your parents taught you?
What was the most important thing my parents taught me? My dad was always cheerful. He was always optimistic. And he taught me that. I'm always optimistic. I always think the best thing is going to happen. And it gets a bit wearing with some people, but I like it. My mother taught me, she loved the place she was from. She was born in a village about a mile from where I live. And she always taught me about the importance of the place that you live being very, very important. So my dad taught me to be cheerful and to be optimistic, and my mum taught me about the power of where you live and how the place lived. Well, that was her walking past then. So yeah, my mum told me that. So it's like being cheerful and optimistic about the place you live. Like for you, Leon-C, I don't know if you're born there, you're from Leon-C? Yeah, so I mean, to me, that the place that you're from is the important kind of place. You're over the window there. That's better, yeah, just a minute, just allow us a minute.
Just minimising the noise.
Yeah, that's fine. It's a great question, Susie, let's have another one.
I'd really like to go on safari. What dreams have you got that you have yet to fulfill?
Look, 9.
Well, that's all right, we can answer that one. What dreams have I got that I've yet to fulfil? It's funny, when it was my birthday on Saturday, when I was 56, when you're younger you think, I'm going to go everywhere in the world, at least once. I've been to a few places, but not many. And suddenly you think, I wonder if I'll ever get to New Zealand. Will I ever manage to go to San Francisco? Will I ever manage to go to Chile? So my ambition is to go to as many places as I can. Because you know in the end that maybe you'll not get to them all. I've always fancied going to to Antarctica. You know, and perhaps, I don't know, don't know what it would be like, but that's the ambition, to go places I've not been. I've been to a lot of places in Britain. There's some places I've never been to. There's a place called God Manchester. Never been there. There's an island called Muck in Scotland. Never been there. I want to go to Muck and God Manchester. So I've been most places, you know, because I've been doing this job for a long time. You think, oh, I've been there. Never been to Lee. Me and my friend Tony Husband do a show called A Cartoon History of Here. And we've been to some village halls in Essex, but never Lee. So we'll let you know next time we're down your way. Come and see us. That'll be very good. So there's my unfulfilled ambition. My recent unfulfilled ambition was to lose a lot of weight, and I have, because I've given them beers and pies. Well, there's 2 sevens.
Who set this up?
And there's 7.
Try one of the 7s then.
Try that 7.
Try 7.
Try that 7.
Let's hit that one.
Let's try the other 7.
There's a scared one, Susie. One with the scared picture.
Well, the scared picture.
Hey.
Well, let's try that one.
Brittany.
Oh, sorry.
Are you scared of anything?
Yes, I'm scared of lots of things. What am I most scared of? What really scares me sometimes is ending up somewhere, going somewhere, and maybe somebody's going to meet me and I'm going to go to do something, and they're not there. And I'm totally lost. I don't know where I am. It's a bit like a dream when you go, you're asking people where you're meant to be. So that's what sometimes scares me, this idea of going somewhere and thinking, actually I don't know where I'm up to, I don't know what I'm doing here. I used to be scared of spiders, but I'm not anymore. I didn't like them when they're in the bath. You know, like big long legs, I wasn't so keen on that. But I've got over that, I'm not so bad with spiders. I used to not be very good at flying. Not literally, you know, but I used to not be very good at being on a plane. I used to find that a bit scary, but I'm alright with that now. So really it's just going somewhere and, you know, being a bit lost, that's what I'm scared of. I always think to myself, there's no point being scared, because actually, people say, aren't you scared when you perform in front of people? But no, I'm not, because in the end there's only a few things can happen. So being scared is not a good thing, but that's the only time I'm scared, I think. That's a good question, that, the scary one.
I love books. Do you have a favourite book?
Well, you've seen I've got my suitcase full of books. My thing is that all the time I get new books, because I do this programme about books. I get sent books all the time, and I'm reading books all the time. So, you know, if you ask me what my favourite was, it's the one I've just read. You know, so I've just read this book about this poet. This poem's by a chap called Peter Redgrove. That's my favourite today. But I think what's my favourite book of all time? I'll tell you what my favourite book of all time is. It's a novel that not many people know about. It's by a man called Malcolm Lowry, and it's called Under the Volcano. And it is the most amazing novel. He wrote it in 1947, so it's quite an old book. And it's just about a man living in Mexico. But it's beautiful, and every year I go back and read it again. I just love that book so much. It's falling to bits, tatty now, but that's the one. Under the Volcano, Malcolm Lowry. I'd recommend it. These are great questions. Was that question 8? No. The mystery of question 8.
The mystery of question 8.
I don't know. Probably I don't know the answer. But that was the one.
For answering my questions.
Lovely.
Have we got any more? Is that it?
There we go.
I think we missed one out, that was all.
What, do you want to ask me the one we missed out?
Do you know which one it
Is
is?
that useful to you?
No, which one it is?
I think it's the one with the picture of the plane on it.
A picture of a plane. Oh, that one, yeah, number 10. Well, let's ask that one.
Have we done that one?
No, I don't think we have.
Yeah.
Have we?
Go anywhere in the world? Did we ask you that one?
I think we have done that one, yeah.
Okay.
I think we might be done.
No, I think you did all of them actually, Susie.
Did we?
Yeah.
Super. Well done.